I want to get a little closer to you and see if we can get your attention for like the next 5 minutes. I just want to give you a kind of a message from us. Think about this. Who would have guessed a year ago when we were together that we'd be standing here with so much hope and excitement for the future of Lebanon? If I would have told you last May that you're going to see a ceasefire in a couple of months, elect an independent president, and see Lebanon pick an independent prime minister with reform-minded, competent ministers, you might have asked, where's Ed getting his hashish from? Think about that. This is surely a time to rejoice, no question about it, and we have a lot of hope. But we're reminded that there's more work to be done. And let me just go back to a point in history that I want to remind you of. So, on September 7th, 1982, President Ronald Reagan presented the Medal of Freedom to Ambassador Philip C. Habib, a role model for many of us in this room. The president said, and I quote, "By his skillful diplomacy and tireless activity, Phil has led the efforts of the United States government to build a framework in which the leaders of Lebanon could once again protect the right of their people to security and freedom." The president continues, "What Phil accomplished was the vital first step, which made it possible for launching a fresh start in the quest for peace, not only for Lebanon, but for Israel and its Arab neighbors as well." This was President Ronald Reagan in 1982, 43 years ago. In his acceptance, Phil Habib responded, and I quote, "There's still a great deal to do. The situation remains extremely tenuous. Each morning I pick up the traffic and read it, wondering if something has gone wrong and we have to start all over again. But so far, we're on track," he said, and he ended by saying, "I'm a chronic optimist." I know what Amos is thinking right now. Amos and Morgan could have written this script, written this answer 3 months ago. This was 1982, though. And as George Santana once said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again at an important turning point for Lebanon, much like we had in 1982, with Lebanon having taken, once again, quote, "that vital first step." And once again, the U.S. is the key interlocutor, potentially creating the space for a peaceful Lebanon, living in harmony with its neighbors, helping to build a strong Lebanese army and a prosperous future for the country, in partnership with our international friends and allies. So the question I have now is, have the Lebanese leaders learned the lessons of the past? I'm looking at you, Fuad. What's the answer? He said, of course. He's an optimist. The positive difference today is that we have an enforcement mechanism to fulfill the terms of the ceasefire. We have the bipartisan support of the United States of America and the will of the Lebanese government to see this thing through. I might add, we also have a voice we didn't have then, called the American Task Force on Lebanon. We also have 2 great congressmen who have worked decades for this day, and we should recognize them. You know who they are, Darrell Issa and Darren LaHood. Now is the time for all of us in this room to remember Lebanon's history and make sure we double down and help Lebanon finish the job. Our cause today is bigger than the vested and personal interest that has torn Lebanon apart for too long. The U.S. and ATFL have been working for this day for 3 decades, more than 3 decades. Lebanese Americans have supported Lebanon since the accords that Phil Habib built, through the closing days of the Civil War, through the building of Solidaire, through occupation, war, and undue influence by countries in the region, through the democratic uprisings of 2019 and the financial collapse of Lebanon. We have now arrived at this new day of hope for the Lebanese people. But now is the time for the new Lebanese government and the parliament, working with its U.S. partner, to live up to the promises it made to its people. It's going to take courage and will by Lebanon's leaders to finish the job and realize a new, united vision. As you heard already from Special Envoy Morgan Ortagus, America's ready to help Lebanon finish the job, but Lebanon must now show unity to put nation ahead of personal and sectarian gain. In closing, let me just say that the more Lebanon's leaders speak with one voice on behalf of the interests of the Lebanese people, the more chance we're going to have to live up to America and Lebanon's long-lasting hope for a peaceful and a prosperous Lebanon. And quite frankly, I believe we're going to get there because, like Phil Habib, we all in this room are chronically optimistic. Thank you. So before closing off, I want to call out our partner, Jay Gazelle. Thank you, Jay, for all you do to make this cause right. And a staff that works 24/7. All it takes is a phone call, and they're in the office working diligently. Let me start with a person that really deserves a double applause, Kristen Kutab. Stephen Howard, Cheyenne Mawad, Taisir Habib, Patricia Karam, Philippe Nassif, and Jenna El-Adi. Thank you, guys. And thanks, Kristen, twice.